Shalom. I am Rabbi Nathan Davidovich, speaking to you on behalf of the webyeshiva.org, speaking to you from Efrat, Israel. I'm going to discuss something from this week's Torah portion, the Parsha of Toldot. And I'm going to talk about how we learn from this Parsha the importance of having your outward appearance reflect your inner self. In this week's Torah reading, we have the story of Isaac blessing his sons, Yaakov and Esau, Jacob and Esau. As the story goes, Isaac realized he's getting older, and he thought he should bless his sons before he dies. So he tells his son Esau to go out and get fancy delicacies so he can give him a blessing. And Isaac's wife, Rivka, overhears this, and she knows that Yaakov really deserves the blessing because he really was the one who was given by Esau the birthright. Therefore, he should get the blessing. So Yaakov was reluctant to do that, but his mother said, "Don't worry. Any harm that comes upon you, it'll be my fault. I'll take it upon me." So she prepares food for very delicacies that Yitzchak would like, and puts skins on Yaakov's hands so that when Isaac would feel his hands, he would feel like they're the hands of Esau because he was a very hairy person. So Yaakov goes in to get the blessing, and he speaks in a way that raises some question in Yitzchak's mind, because he tells his father that God brought him to him so fast, because his father wanted to know, how's he here so quickly? He just gave him this assignment. How did he get here so quickly? But he's speaking so nicely, saying, "Please, Father, do this," and so on. And Esau always spoke in a rough voice. So with his suspicions aroused, Isaac said to Yaakov, now Isaac was, I should have mentioned, Isaac couldn't see. He was blind. So he said to Yaakov, to who he believed to be Esau, he said, "Gishona, come close to me, I pray you. I ask you, Mamashcha, and I will feel you, Bani, my son, Atvaze Bani Esau imlo, if you are really Esau, my son, or not." So it says, Vayigash Yaakov el Yitzchak aviv. Yaakov went near to Yitzchak his father, V'Mosheu, and he felt him. V'Yomer, he said, Hakol kol Yaakov, the voice is the voice of Jacob. Vayadayim yadei Esau, but the hands are the hands of Esau. V'lo hikiru, and he did not recognize who this was, because his hands looked like the hands of his brother. My father, Alav Shalom, Rabbi Davidovich, gave a beautiful Torah on this whole scenario. And he brought the Torah from his Rabbi, the Atzei Chaim, who quoted the Kli Yakar. And the question was, he says, why does it say first Hakol Kol Yaakov, Vayadayim Adei Esau. Why does it say first the voice is the voice of Yaakov, and the hands are those of Esau? And he quoted from Parsha Shemini, where the Torah talks about which animals are kosher to eat and which are not. And in Parsha Shemini, the Kli Yakar quotes the sentence. He says, Ves Hagamel, the camel, Kimala Gerahu. And the first thing it says about the camel is it chews its cud. We know there are two different qualities for kosher meat. One, that the animal chew its cud, and that it has split hooves. So it started this, and he says, why does it start with the reference to what is pure when you're going to be talking about tumah, about the unclean? And the Kli Yakar says that what happens is the person who appears to be pure, if he's really not, if he's acting as a hypocrite, then this, by mentioning this appearance first of purity, it adds to the impurity. It brings out the impurity that the person has. And he says, it teaches us a very important lesson, that Kol mi she'eino tochu kaburo k'midas hatzavoim areim atzmam k'shera v'hem lev sufik karoim min harshoim. He says people are hypocrites. He said your inner self must reflect what you show other people, not to act one way to people in a good way, but really have hate in your heart. And he says this is the important thing, and so that to show that you're not a hypocrite. So many people walk around pretending that they're somebody else, but deep down they're really not. Pretending they have good motives, but deep down they don't. And what was happening here? Esau was fooling his father, making his father Yitzchak think that he was really a great Torah student. He really understood what was going on. He asked his father a question, asked him a couple of questions that were really not on track of anything. He says, do you have to tithe from salt? Take a tithe, a tenth of your income when you have dealing with salt, which of course is clearly not the requirement. And therefore he was fooling. And he said, Tzai Bafiv, his mouth sounded like the Torah. But he says, when he felt the hands, he realized, that these were the hands of Esau. And he said that what he thought, he thought that this sign of impurity just adds impurity to impurity, indicates those whose inside is not as their outside. They're like hypocrites, pretending to be righteous, and without doubt, they're worse than the complete sinners who are seen to be as sinners. The Talmud in Masechet Yoma comments on the sentence in the portion of Noach where it says, Asali tevat atse gofer kinim tases hateva v'chabarta oso mibayis mechutz. Make yourself an ark and cover it inside and out with wood. And then the Torah later tells us you should make a mikdash, a temple, and I will dwell in you. He says that it's like the Mishkan. He says, Vasu Aron Atzai Shiti, making the ark of different kind, this specific word, you should cover it. Tzbisa Zahav Tor Mibayis Michutz, in and out. completely. And the Gemara there says, "Mibayis b'chutz," from in and out. Titzapena Omer Rabba called Talmid Chacham she'ein tocho kavoro eino Talmid Chacham. A Talmid Chacham, a wise person, whose outside is not like his inside, isn't really a Talmid Chacham. What the Torah is telling us is to always be truthful. Don't put on airs. Don't try to show somebody that you are what you are not. Be truthful. As Shakespeare said, to thine own self be true, and thou canst not be false to any man. The righteousness that we have, that people have, should be complete, not just an outward show, not like a costume, but really demonstrate who that person really is. Thank you for listening on behalf of the webyeshiva.org. I wish everybody a wonderful Shabbat.